I do not remember not seeing poi. It was just another thing that was in the house. It's oral history. You're passing on your history. Don't claim ownership of the actual thing. I just ask people have the knowledge. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, friends. So I'm back with my friend Tash, and Tash has been helping me learn some Maori short poi style these past few weeks. Today, though, we thought we would do something a little different, and I wanted to ask Tash a bit about her experiences growing up surrounded by poi. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. Today, we're going to be on the brain side of things as we learn more about what it's like to grow up around poi. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spin Balls, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friends of the channel, Lain Mochinsky and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you both so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. Hey friends, so if you're just joining us, this is my friend Tash, who is bartender at the bar up the street where I go to for regular Thursday night trivia, and because DC is just that small a city, she is Maori from New Zealand / Aotearoa, and she's been teaching me some awesome short poi style the past 2 weeks. We've also been talking a little bit about what it was like to grow up in Maori culture and being exposed to poi from an early age, so I wanted to have an opportunity to talk to her about what that was like. So, Tash, when do you first remember, seeing poi growing up?
I do not remember not seeing poi. It was just another thing that was in the house.
Interesting.
I grew up with my mom, but I would bounce between her house and her sister's house, so it's like my second mom, and her kids were basically my siblings, even though they were my first cousins. And one of them, Mariah, she's 16 years older than me, she had been doing Kapa Haka, which is what we call it, since school. And actually when I was 6, I also performed in a Kapa Haka group for my school. We were in a play, and then I remember we performed as a Kapa Haka group after the play, after we took off our costumes, and we had our traditional bodice and the piu-piu, which is the skirt, the grass skirt, which nowadays it's made from typically plastic and like a black nylon rope, because it is just to get the sort of sound and the movement.
So I gotta ask then, do you think that having poise being all around is something that was more specific to your family, or is that just common Maori experience growing up?
Probably that is the typical experience in my hometown. It is known as so I'm from Rotorua. It is known as the cultural tourism capital of the country. Now, a big part of the industry in town is tourism and performing Maori arts for the tourists. It's where, if you're from Rotorua, you are very much connected with Maoridom in general, and part of that is our dances, and that is poi. Yeah. I was so excited seeing poi being performed outside of New Zealand. The first time I ever encountered it, it was me watching something, and it was on the people of Hawaii. This was before I learned that we are actually literally just a couple hundred years off the boat from them. We were them. So, that makes sense that they have poi. Yeah. But the first time I saw it outside of New Zealand itself, myself being outside, was in Thailand. With people doing flow poi. Yeah, the contemporary style. Yeah. Yes, so that blew my mind, and of course I had a turn.
Please hold.
Oh, hi, Mark.
God damn it.
I did not see you there.
I didn't hit her. I did not.
I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Nobody outside of Maryland is gonna get that.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Which brings up another interesting question, because it is my impression that like traditional Maori style doesn't involve fire at all.
No. No, it doesn't. Well, not when you're sober.
Fair enough.
No. For what it was for us was a way to maintain your fitness during times of peace. So the short poi was for wrist dexterity and mobility, for hand-eye coordination, and the long poi was more for shoulder mobility, like your rotator cuff, your labrum, to keep all of this active and moving. And they weren't the only ones that we were using too, but poi, there's a musicality to poi, and a way to perform that is just fantastic for a big group. So that's how I experienced poi growing up, is seeing women now. It wasn't so back in the day. Seeing all of them perform the same dances, and it's mesmerizing when you see it en masse.
Well, and that leads to another question, because as we were talking about in some of the videos where you were teaching me some of the short poi style, the poi in itself is like a musical instrument in many ways. It seems like it's a tool for dance, it's a tool for music. So I get the impression sometimes that a lot of poi also has like storytelling elements to it.
Oh, it does. The movements of the poi, you're mimicking a bird flying. The pattern of the beat of the wings depends on what you're actually singing about, though. Like you're in hula, you're moving your hands to signify certain things. For our dances, we have something called the wiri, where we shake our hand like this, and then we do large arm movements. The poi itself is an extension of the hand, so it's just a little bit more of a delicate way to do that, I guess.
Yeah, there's so many things to unpack from that too, like, poi as a way to maintain physical fitness, as a musical instrument, as an accompaniment to a song, like a physical embodiment of some of the lyrics, it sounds like at that point. It seems like poi has a lot of dimensions to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's part of the storyteller aspect too. The songs, which are what many cultural songs are, it's oral history. You're passing on your history, and why not perform the actions to sort of really cement the information that you're putting in there. Yeah.
So do you have any kind of context for, like, in a contemporary setting, you mentioned how poi is very frequently used for ceremonial purposes, not just in a traditional setting, but also in like a tourist setting as well. Do you have any kind of feel for how that has changed, how poi has been perceived and performed within Maori culture over time?
No, not within Maori culture at all. Okay. It is how we performed it then is how we perform it now. The purpose for performing it has changed, because we're no longer running around trying to beat the English. But no, now it's just we do it for the sheer love of our culture. You perform, you do Kapa Haka for it, and as I was saying earlier, it's now a part of our economy back home. So we love it so much. You never work a day in your life. You do what you love. There's a whole bunch of people doing poi back home. So
going back to when you mentioned seeing fire poi for the first time in Thailand, I have to ask, like, what was it? How did it feel like seeing this kind of different, pun intended, spin on something that like has been a big part of your culture growing up?
Oh, I was so excited. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, they're doing poi. Oh my God, it's on fire. Oh my God, can I do that too? That was literally the train of thought, and then I ran in, and yes, they actually let me do it with fire.
Oh, cool.
No, I was super excited to see it. Like, yay! And then part of me was like, do you know where they came from? Do you know who that is? That's what I am.
And a lot of people that do it these days do not know where it comes from. That honestly makes me think of how you and I met, because like I didn't know that you were Maori when I first walked into the bar.
That's pretty much how our very first conversation went. Yeah. When you found out that I was from New Zealand and that I was Maori.
Right. So as soon as I had placed your accent, I was just like, wait a second, have you ever heard of a thing called poi? and like, yeah?
Yeah, I'm from New Zealand. I'm Maori.
Right. Well, and there was a really interesting moment there because, you know, I remember bringing in some sets of poi that, like, I had been sent by the companies, and you kind of take a look at them and you're like, what is this?
So the poi you use for spinning is much heavier than ours. Now, I don't know what they used to stuff them with pre-electricity. But nowadays it's sort of like foam and newspaper to sort of bulk it out. And wrapped in plastic and wool from like the craft store. But it's much easier for the hits because you, as you've experienced, you are doing a lot of hits like that, even with long poi, which I'm going to, when I say long poi, I'm going to be speaking specifically on the Maori style of poi, and when I say flow poi, that'll be your poi.
Sound like great terms to me. Yeah.
So with long poi, you are doing physical like hits as well, and I would hate to see the bruises after a day of doing some of those that you would do with flow poi.
There's a TikTok video for me to make.
I didn't know how particular I was with the size that I wanted the ball itself to be. Some were very small, some were very big, but they were weighted, so like getting used to that move, like moving everything, that's more of a workout than long poi is, definitely.
It can be, and goodness only knows, like people winding up with shoulder problems doing that is disturbingly frequent.
Start with long poi, save your labrum.
Right. So clearly there's a very active flow poi community around the world, and many of the people in it have absolutely no idea that they are practicing an art that started with an indigenous group. As somebody who grew up in it, and that's a part of your culture, what are some things that you would love to see out of the flow poi community to show respect for that? So
for the ones that don't know and do pick up poi, I would want them to have the curiosity to learn, to look it up. I'm not saying that, you know, preface everything that you do when it comes to poi with like, this is something from this place and it's traditionally performed for these. You don't need to do that. I just ask people to have the knowledge where it comes from. Just have a curiosity, and obviously poi is not an English word, so like look up the etymology of it at least. For the ones that do know what the culture is, just don't claim ownership of the actual thing. Claim ownership of the movements. If you've invented a movement, all of that's absolutely awesome, but like don't pretend that you know all and everything. That is pretty much it. You're basically just being respectful of the history, but use the practice for yourself. Do what you want with it. Cool. Know the history. I'm just asking people to have knowledge. That's it.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Tash, thank you so much both for being out in the cold with me, talking about and teaching me poi, and also for everything that you have shared with us here.
Oh, you are very welcome. It was fun.
Yay!
Cold and fun.
If you got anything out of this video, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep the conversation going and to help people find my channel and help it grow. This video would not be possible were it not for the kind support of all of these lovely people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the people listed down in the description, help to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. Thank you one and all for your very generous support. If you out there watching are not currently a supporter and you'd like to become one, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DraxFactorPoi and signing up. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, and even better, you'll be helping me out in my mission. Go check that out, please and thank you. To check out some of the other videos that I've recorded with Tash here, I'm going to include a link to a playlist of them down in the description, as well as up here on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Also, you might like this top video here. YouTube algorithm thinks that you might like it based upon your past viewing habits, so maybe check that out as well. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video very soon. Peace.